Alright, Doctor Who, in regards to his character development through each incarnation. This is how it goes. I have a theory. The first Doctor. The first Doctor is the one who ran away from Gallifrey. Yes. But let's think about something for him. What does that entail? The first Doctor was over 400 years old when he decided to leave Gallifrey. That means this man sat there and pondered on this for a long time, because I doubt that it was something that was spurred one day. This is something he probably thought about for a long time and finally just got the courage enough to be able to get up and do on a day where he was bored or scared or what may have been. He finally decided, I've had enough of this, I'm going because I've had enough of these people, I've had enough of all of this. It took this man 400 years to do that though. Think in your own life. If you want to do something but you don't have the courage to do it, or you're held back by societal pressures, you're held back by things at home that are relying on you, responsibilities. These responsibilities that have been ingrained in you since childhood. As a Time Lord, you have responsibility to a lot, not just for your planet, but for the entire universe as it is told. Now, his opinions on whether he actually agreed or not entirely with how that was being done, or the degree to which that responsibility was being played out, that's the questionable thing. That's what really bothered him. The thing is, again, it took him almost 400 years to leave Gallifrey. 300 to 400, that's vary. There's different accounts, but around there. Some accounts say 200, I don't know about that, as he was still clearly an old man. Also, Susan was with him when he left, as we saw in Doctor Who The Beginning from Big Finish Audios and Name of the Doctor, which both coincide with each other in a lot of ways. Once again, back to that point about putting yourself in his shoes. Say there's something you want to do and you're too afraid to do it for all those similar expectations or different responsibilities and such. It could take someone an entire lifetime to finally get the courage to get up and do something. Say that's 80 years. Say you give someone an extension for 160 years to live. That's still not even half the time it would have taken him to leave. Because I doubt it was 200. It was probably like 300 to 400, if we're being honest. But then again, either way, no matter how you look at it, it still doesn't compare to a regular human lifespan. This man took several what would have been human lifespans in order to finally get the courage to leave, which is something that we ourselves would have taken forever to do. That he was held back by a lot. This man is way more vast of a being than we are, and it was still too hard for him to leave. But eventually, he said screw it, and he left. He is the Doctor who actually got the courage, finally, and ran away. Probably looking at the injustices of the universe through all we can intel from his character. He saw all these injustices. He had all these questions. He had all of this that he had seen nothing being done about. He had all these quandars with his own people about the situation. And it just built up to a point where he finally had enough and left. This is the Doctor who's finally out there, finally being able to do something. But how does he do it? Where do I start? He asks himself, where do I start? And he is doing a bad job. He's not doing a great job at first. He almost kills a caveman in the first episode. He's struggling with time as a concept in general. You still see a lot of these ingrained viewpoints on time within him that he has to go through his entire first incarnation's lifespan in order to work through. A lot of this with the influence of his companions who he surrounds himself by, which are the most humbling thing for him. This is the Doctor figuring everything out. He's finally out there doing what he's always felt in his heart he needed to get out there and do. But where do I start? How do I actually do this now that I'm out here? And he is struggling. And not only that, this man is old. This man is like decrepit. Now, I don't know if the first Doctor was dying of old age or was just dying of sicknesses. And then you got what happened in the Daleks' master plan, where he got accelerated in age and not really helping the situation. He was already sick and in bad health, and then stuff like that happened, and through these adventures and figuring it out, not being at the top of his game yet, being very vulnerable, physically, on top of all else. He took a lot of hits very early into going into this game. And eventually it did take a toll on him. Eventually it did wear him out. Eventually, it killed him. But not at no cost, because by the end, this man had been humbled so much that he had started to change. He'd started to feel a responsibility growing. He started to be something more than he ever thought he could become. But we're not there yet. But it's starting. This man dies, and he's given a new lease on life, reborn. into his second incarnation, the first time he's ever regenerated. And he's not necessarily youthful, but very energetic. The Doctor, in his second incarnation, he has a new lease on life.